Find a quiet spot. Let the room take its own shape. The scuff on the baseboard, the stripe of streetlight on the wall, the soft tick of a pipe cooling. Sit the way a tree sits in wind that has finally lost interest. Jaw loose, shoulders lower by a notch you didn't know they had. Breath arrives like tide that doesn't ask permission. You are here, and that is already enough to begin. Place a palm over your chest, not as a badge, not as a shield, simply as a sign that you're willing to meet yourself where it hurts. Feel the weight of your hand, the slow lift of breath, the heart making its small, stubborn music. Name, quietly, without embroidery, what cut you. A sentence, a gaze, the promise that bent until it snapped, the thing you did, the silence you kept, the door you should have closed sooner. One name is plenty. Let it sit on the table between you and the night. We aren't polishing the story. We're telling the truth to the room. Imagine a workshop with a single lamp. You lay the hurt down on the bench, like a tool you don't know how to use anymore. It is heavy. It has edges. Notice where the edge lives in your body, under the sternum, in the throat, at the hinge of the jaw, behind the eyes. Don't sand it yet. First, let breath flow over it, the way warm water runs over a rusted hinge. In, space around the edge. Out, a fraction of heat leaving the metal. Not a miracle. Mechanics. Say out loud if you can manage it. This happened. Not the courtroom version, not the PR statement. The field note, weather, time of day, who was there, what it cost. If your voice shakes, that is evidence you're still alive. If it doesn't, that is evidence too. We aren't auditioning for anything. We're making a ledger that doesn't lie. Now separate the parts the way careful hands separate threads. Person, act, consequence. Person, like every person, made of mornings and history and the odd mercy that showed up too late. Act, sharp, real, not to be excused away. Consequence, how it landed in you and what it rearranged. Keep the act where it belongs, in the light. Keep the person out of the furnace. This is not softness that erases. It is clarity that refuses to confuse a whole human with a single impact. Turn the lamp toward yourself. What armor did you build because of this? What tricks did you learn to survive that now keep you from hearing your own doorbell? What sentences do you hand yourself that bruise as they land? I should have known. I always do this. I'm the one who breaks things. Put those sentences on the bench as well. We can repair a story. We can't repair a curse that keeps pretending it is truth. Let breath lengthen at the exit. A longer out breath tells the body that the fire alarm can stand down for a minute. The shoulders obey first. The jaw unhooks next. The belly, slow, reluctant, follows. Like a guard clocking out, because there is finally another guard to take the post. You are not taking the alarm off the wall. You are silencing it, while you look around for actual flames. Forgiveness is not a door you kick open. It is a hinge you oil every day until the metal remembers how to move. Take one cotton rag made of breath and wipe a thin sheen of warmth along the hinge. Ask 3 questions that don't lie. What do I want to carry 1 month from now that I can already set down tonight? What warning do I want to keep because it saved me once and might save me again? What punishment am I inflicting on myself that repairs nothing? Keep the warning, keep the lesson, put down the punishment. It is a tool that doesn't fit this work anymore. Picture the person on a chair across the room, far enough that your breath stays steady, close enough that you are not pretending they don't exist. Between you, lay a line of small stones, boundary visible, boundary kind, boundary that says, I am a place without needing a wall 10 stories high. On your side, set a small bowl of clear water. Speak, not to change their heart, but to clean your own mouth. I will not keep swallowing the poison I mixed for you. If that sounds like poetry, fine. If it sounds like plumbing, better. We're flushing pipes. If you are the one who did harm, keep your seat. Do not sprint for absolution. It runs faster than you do. Look again at the act under the lamp. Name what was in your hands and what was not. Name what you will not do again and the scaffolding you will build so that promise is real. Choose a repair that has a receipt, a call, a payment, a boundary that protects the other, an apology that does not drag the injured person into your need. The world doesn't change for speeches. It changes for structures. Build one. If grief walks in, give it a chair and both your hands. Let it cry until the angle in your throat widens. Tears are water doing their ancient job. If anger arrives, do not send it to the yard. Ask it what door it is trying to guard. Give it a better post. Anger with a good assignment becomes a fence that protects instead of a flame that eats the curtains. Return to the breath. Let it travel behind the heart to the muscles that held the day at attention. Let it enter the long ropes along the spine, the places where vigilance sleeps in its boots. Tell them, without words, that the watch can rotate. Someone else will look out the window for a while. This is not naivety. This is delegation. A letter you will not send. Write it inside you. Here is what happened. Here is what it cost. Here is what I won't carry for you anymore. Here is what I'll carry for myself from now on. Sign it with the name you use when you promise something you intend to keep. Fold it small. Put it in the pocket where you keep your keys. When you reach for the door tomorrow, you'll feel it. That is the point. Now, the old debt of anger. We are going to return it where accounts belong. Back to time, back to gravity, back to wherever unpaid weights go when someone stops pretending they can pay them with their heart. Close your eyes long enough to see a counter made of stone. Place the weight on it. The replay, the bitter taste, the arguments you rehearsed in showers and on walks, the speech you perfected for a courtroom that never convened. Leave it there. If a part of you tries to grab a souvenir, open your hand and let that part be the last thing to go. Surrender is not losing. It is refusing to keep fighting a war that cannot be won by staying up at night. Take the memory to the river that moves under everything, not the one on a map, the one you feel when the breath climbs your back and then sits down. Rinse the story in that water, not to make it pretty, to make it clean. Some stains won't leave. They are honest. What matters is that the cloth stops carrying someone else's heat. Hold it up to the lamp. If it drips, squeeze once. If it tears, wrap it anyway. Bandages don't have to be perfect to do their job. Let your younger self come in, the one who learned to brace, who turned jokes into shelter, who apologized for existing in a room that had already invited them, who stood on the porch of love and didn't think they were allowed to knock. Sit them at the bench. Give them the clean cloth. Teach them the sentence you needed then. You are not required to be hurt, to be held. Watch their shoulders lower by an inch you didn't know was available. Visit the scene again, but change the lighting. Same facts, different light. Place 2 windows in the wall that had none. Open them. Let air move through the room where the argument lives. See how even hard furniture looks less like a weapon when a window gives the corner back its shadow. This is what forgiveness often is. Ventilation. Make a small inventory of debts you don't owe. Fixing someone's history, translating every silence, proving your worth to a jury that exists only in your head, paying interest on mistakes that have already taught you what they came to teach. Cross them off. Draw a line under the empty list. If your hand shakes, use your other hand to steady it. Precision matters. Place the person back on their chair and say the sentence you can live with tomorrow morning. Not "we're fine," not "it never mattered." Try, "I will not spend my life rehearsing your part of this story," or "I am returning what is yours and investing in what is mine," or "I forgive the past for being over." If you need to whisper, Whisper. Whispering carries farther in rooms that have learned to listen. If your body wants to move, let it. Let the shoulders roll. Let the neck learn a new angle. Let the hands open and close, like tools being checked back in at the end of a shift. Stand, if standing is what honesty asks for. Sit deeper, if sitting is the truer posture. Forgiveness is not a performance for God or ghosts. It is a way your bones choose not to be drafted into an old war. Think of the ordinary things that will carry this work tomorrow. Water from a tap that runs clear. Shoes that remember your feet. A sun that doesn't ask your permission to rise. Paper and pen. An inbox you can close. A door that locks. A friend who answers. A walk you can take where a tree remembers your name better than you do. Choose one. Make it a ritual. When you touch it, you'll remember the bench and the lamp and the boundary made of stones. Now ask the only question that matters at the end of this kind of night. What would love have me do that does not re-wound me? Let the answer be small and hard to argue with. A boundary you will speak once and honor without a speech. A message you will not send. A number you will block. An appointment you will keep. A map you will draw so you can leave the place you keep getting lost. Write the answer on the inside of your wrist with invisible ink. Your pulse will read it back to you when the day pretends to forget. Hold your palm to your chest again. Feel the heart, that stubborn drummer. Say thank you, quiet, untheatrical, to the muscles that unclenched, to the breath that kept showing up even when the room felt thin, to the mind that tried to defend you the only way it knew how, to the parts of you that believed this work might be possible. Gratitude is not a ribbon. It is a clean tool put back in the drawer, ready for the next honest repair. Open the window inside you. If night air is available, let it in. If not, imagine it. Imagine the cool moving across the floor and up the wall, untying the last knot behind your eyes. Picture the world outside. Quiet street, a moth tapping once at the glass. Someone 2 buildings over laughing softly in a kitchen. A river under the city, doing what it has done longer than the city has had a name. Everything continuing. You too. Before you go, return to the bench. The act remains what it was. The person remains a person. The consequence remains a teacher. But the hinge moves. You can feel it in the way the door, when you touch it, doesn't argue like it did an hour ago. Oil can do this. Time can do this. Hands, patient and honest, can do this. Turn off the lamp. The room does not go dark. It goes truthful. Take 1 breath for the road and 1 for the house you carry. Then walk with your hand empty, your pockets light, your spine a little taller. The past will call sometimes, and sometimes you will answer, and sometimes you will let it ring. Either way, you know where the bench is now. Either way, you know where the window is.